What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Grant and Holden. I believe this is episode 8. In today's episode, we will be talking about Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been talking about it in the last 2 episodes, just a little bit from time to time. And I just wanted to have a full episode about it. I finished it last weekend, and I'm ready to talk about it. And with a special guest, if you would like to introduce yourself.
I had no idea what your hand motions were, but then I eventually figured it out. Hey, I'm Holden. I've known this dude all my life, and I really love Horizon Zero Dawn. It's probably one of my new favorite games as of this year.
So yeah, what he was talking about was I was trying to. He was playing the music and I was telling him turn it down so we can do kind of a fade out. All right, but anyway, before we go into our discussion, how this episode's going to work today, it's going to be less formatted. I have a review that I typed out and I'll read through that, and then we'll go into a discussion without spoilers, and then we will make it clear that we are going to spoilers. Then we'll have a pros and cons thing throughout the discussion. So, yeah, so, by the way, this review is spoiler-free. Well, yeah, mostly.
This half is spoiler free.
Yeah, this part doesn't have any, story stuff in it if you haven't beat the game yet. Okay. When I first played Horizon Zero Dawn, I knew it was something special. From the massive but contained open world to the amazing story of curiosity and redemption and the Monster Hunter-style combat. When I opened up the game and saw the Guerrilla Games logo and nothing but blackness on the screen, I knew this game was something special. From the beginning cutscenes to the weary yet soothing music, I knew this game was going to tell an amazing story and show the growth of Guerrilla from their previous game series, Killzone. Don't get me wrong, Killzone 1, 2, 3, and questionably Killzone Shadowfall were great games. They knew how to make great games, but they don't know how to make excellent games. This question found its answer with Horizon Zero Dawn. This isn't only called Horizon because of the story, but because of the direction Guerrilla is going in, the Horizon. You take the role as Aloy, an outcast shunned from the Nora tribe, which she was born. She doesn't know her mother or father, but only another outcast named Rost. You find out about a trial called The Proving. This will allow you to no longer be an outcast and join the ranks of the many. You train, which comes to a fun tutorial that doesn't even feel like a tutorial. After you train and find a focus along the way, which is an ancient machine found in the depths of the old world. Machines lurk the landscape and you have no idea what or who put them there. The tribes around you have cast them as demons and are only given by the shadows, the enemy of the sun god, which is their religion and god they worship. Later in the story, you'll find out more about the robots, who you are, and what's your purpose in the crazy post-disaster of a world. The gameplay is the best part and should be the best part of every game. Fortunately, Horizon is the best at gameplay. Aloy, the main character, controls well. Her movements seem a little bit floaty, but it works well with the game with its precise bow mechanics. When you draw out your bow in its third-person shooter combat, you know what you're about to hit. It takes a bit to get used to, but when I went into my first battle, the bow felt awesome. I was walking down a trail headed to one of the many settlements and walked across 2 watchers. I pulled out my bow but realized they were coming towards me. I dodged to the side and pulled out my bow again. I missed my first time, but then I fired again and got a shot. It took 3 more shots before the first watcher was down. I hit the final one in its red eye, which caused an instant kill. I never thought a battle like this before, and I wanted to experience more of what this game had to offer. Further into my journey, I found dungeons called cauldrons. You'll be able to put your battle skills to the test in here and be able to get some upgrades along the way. When I think about what games Horizon borrows from, I think of Far Cry's bandit camps and watch points that have access to more of the map. Monster Hunter's battle system with each machine having different weaknesses and strengths, either from being strong to ice or weak to fire. They all behave differently too. Movements range from a machine swooping down at you or one charging head on. The magical aspect about it is it doesn't get old. Each fight brings a new way to play and it never feels old. You might go into a fight just against a charger, but next time you'll be against a charger and a thunderjaw. You might pull out a fire arrow, then a freeze bomb. Perhaps you'll put down a tripcaster and tear off its armor to try and attack its heart. The point is that whatever game Horizon borrows from, it does it better. It changes. It adds, changes, things up a bit and makes the formula fluent in its design. It's breathtaking, fluent, and just plain fun. Besides machines, you face against cult members under the rule of the Eclipse. The humans aren't as fun or versatile to fight against, which makes you not want to fight them at all. Go from fighting a giant T-Rex to fighting a small human with a bow is a letdown, both on a hype standpoint but also a gameplay one. Open world games have been upgrading visuals since the dawn of video games. Going to Final Fantasy VI to Final Fantasy 15, you can obviously see an enhancement in graphics and design. On the other hand, you have games like Fallout 3 and 4 almost looking identical in design and graphics from their predecessors. Sure, some repressed textures, better handling on guns, but nothing that stands out. Look at The Witcher 3, for example, and then you start seeing the churn that open world games are headed in. Lighting, textures, character design, and weather changes all make a game better. Horizon follows the same suit. Girl has always made amazing looking games going back from the PS3 to now. The grass moves with the wind. Blue lighting shines down on you when the moon is down and you're walking through an Amazon-style forest. I never used photo mode as much as I have with Horizon, either using different filters to brighten or darken the screen to moving the camera to show the landscape. What photo mode has capitalized me to do is appreciate the world Horizon has built and take in all the views. There were serious times when I would be going down a road towards a mission and just stop to take in the view, figure out how I wanted to set up the photo and share it with others to enjoy. I've never experienced or done this in a game before, and I congratulate Horizon for achieving this. Character design is great too, with believable looking characters with okay facial animations. Sometimes when I was talking to someone, there would be an awkward 5 seconds of Aloy just standing there waiting for the next scene to start. Other times, the character wouldn't even be looking at me. Instead, he or she would be looking to the side. Armor's okay overall with giving you mods to help you the way you want to play. I don't really see a need to get these armors because they don't help me in battle as much, except the final armor you get in the game, which is OP. Alright, this is my verdict for Horizon. Horizon is a masterpiece in its simplest form. From the fast-paced gameplay to its robust graphics, this just shows it's no short of excellence. When I finished my journey with Horizon, I felt sad. Not that it was over, but because I might not have an experience like that ever again. Guerrilla Games is a special developer who has showed us that they can grow from an FPS to an amazing action RPG. I hope to see more from this franchise, and I don't think I'm far off of it. You haven't played Horizon yet, I highly recommend so. PlayStation's biggest and best exclusive to date, period. Now go on to the Horizon and play. Best wishes. Final score, 10 out of 10, masterpiece. Okay, so, what do you have to say about Horizon from your initial thoughts of the game?
I could not agree more. I absolutely love this game. What I love the most about it is the story, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's spoilery. So I'll save the story for the spoiler part. But as gameplay wise, I played Monster Hunter and I played all these other open world games, and it's so much fun. And yeah, you're completely right. Photo mode, there were literally days where me and Grant would play and we'd just share photos back and forth within like 5 minutes of each other. Mm-hmm. Like it's always when I'm climbing is when I found the best place to take a photo. Like I'd walk over to like a cliff ledge, find where the moon or the sun is, and then I'd just take a picture.
Yeah. Photo mode for me, and it's an interesting thing because I didn't really know photo mode was a thing until I played Uncharted 4 this summer, and I only took like one photo from there in the game. But with this game, there were so many moments in it where I would look and I would just be like blown away by like the visuals and everything. Like I would go like, especially at the night when there would be like green textures and blue textures just like shining down on you, just be like walking through like the canyons and like this open field, and there would be like buildings to and another good photo I had was it was Aloy walking down one of the streets, and it was just this big long street, and there was like the decrepit buildings on both sides, and it was just like such an amazing photo. And I'm not really a photographer, but like this game kind of made me one. It's like, okay, like
this game made me a photographer.
Like, which angle is the best angle? Like,
I now take better selfies because of this game.
Like how should I move the camera?
I wish two things. I wish I had a PlayStation Pro when I played this game, and I definitely wish that more games had a photo mode if they're as beautiful as this, because I have 4 of my favorite photos, and literally my entire purpose of photo mode was to make a new desktop background for myself, and now I have like too many photos to choose from. I have 2 of them were me standing on a cliffside by a mountain. One of them was daytime, one of them was nighttime, one of them was in the snow, and I have 2 of them of me standing on a mountain. One of them is where I'm hacking a snap maw, and the other one's where I'm like looking down to a thunderjaw with like lightning everywhere, and it's awesome.
Um, we're talking about. I talked about in my written review about how they borrowed, and like Colin kind of mentioned this with like Monster Hunter. You're seeing Horizon borrow from these games like Far Cry with like the tall necks. You get to like go to the tall necks, but like Horizon does it so much better because in like Far Cry or like Mass Effect or like all these games were like Zelda even when you're going like climbing on these towers, you're just like climbing. In this one, you have to find an vantage point. You might have to like kill a few enemies before like you can actually get to the tall neck.
And it's moving.
Yeah.
It's like you see the background moving around, and it's just awesome.
Yeah. And you have to be like versatile like while you're moving too. And the combat, yeah, it borrows from. I'm not like the hugest Monster Hunter fan because I think it goes like a little too slow. But like this one has like the fast paced like arcadiness too, but it's also like steady and concrete. And so you might be going against a Thunderjaw, and you might want to use like precision arrows and the Terror Blaster to tear off its armor. But if you're fighting a Githog, you might just be using fire arrows or like precision arrows to like get like its ice sack and like kill it instantaneously. And so like each animal, like each machine, and like they do act like animals, and they're very believable. And when you fight against certain enemies, you're going to have to like switch your mind. Okay, what arrows am I going to use? How am I going to dodge this? How far do I need to stay away? Can I use trip casters on this? You gotta like be thinking about it.
Can I chime in? I play Monster Hunter, and just how in Monster Hunter every monster has its own personality and attack patterns, and that's the same thing here in Horizon. They all have their own attacks, they all have their own weaknesses, and they all have their own mannerisms. One thing that Horizon does way better than Monster Hunter is it's not grindy. Like the whole point of Monster Hunter is you're grinding these monsters out to get weapons and items, but in Horizon they're just part of the world. They're just hanging out.
Yeah. Another cool thing about it is like the borrow from Monster Hunter is there's like certain components to the monster to like the machines. So like a Thunderjaw has like 15 or like something like that. So you might want to take off its disc cannon, and then you can pick up the disc cannon and like start like tearing off like its damage too.
Yeah, you can do that same thing in Monster Hunter where, like, for example, if you have a Rathian and she's using her tail a lot, you can cut the tail off. Mm-hmm. So if you got a Thunderjaw who's also using its tail a lot, you can cut the tail off, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Another cool thing is you're fighting like against like a snap ball or like a fire bellow, and they have like fire sacks or ice sacks. You can use your special arrows to like start like a fire, and they'll like almost like instantaneously kill them too, especially during like the corrupted animals where like they're all like for like they have like high damage against fire.
Oh yeah.
So
there's different ones too. There's the ice ones, and then there's the fire ones. And you can use fire's good against ice, and ice is good against fire ones. So.
I just want to talk about a little bit about like the developers real quick, Guerrilla, because I played Killzone. I didn't play the first Killzone, but I played Killzone 2, Killzone 3, and Killzone Shadowfall on PS3 and PS4, and I enjoyed the games for what they were. They were like a good FPS. They look good. It was just like a popcorn game, basically,
Yeah.
They were good developers, but I never saw them as like an Uncharted. Like I never saw them as like a Naughty Dog or like an Insomniac, or like Sucker Punch.
It's a name you look at and you don't really recognize it.
Yeah, like I knew they were like PlayStation developers for like first party games, but with this game it put them on a map so much, and I really think it showed the maturity of the studio and the direction that they're going in. And after like the amazing success sales of this game. I heard they were going to start doing a story DLC for it and possibly a sequel. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do in the future.
If they do, I'm getting a PS4 Pro immediately. What was I gonna say? Yeah, you were right. I agree with when you said like when the logo showed up and it was just black and the white logo. How many times did I want to take a screenshot of that, but I never could because it's a loading screen. And yeah, I gotta give props to the developers because they had another game on deck, but because they were so passionate about robot dinosaurs, they kept with it. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think in the works they were going to work on like a new Killzone game, but I think they've had this game when they were even working on Shadowfall for like PS4 on like launch. So like this game has been in their development for like a little while, and I'm glad like they took this chance and made it great. Because you think about like PlayStation and like yeah, you have like Infamous, that's like an open world game, but you haven't had like an action, like a good RPG from like the first party PlayStation. And so this is like the first real legit one, and like this is like one of the best, like the only action RPG I can think that even stands close to Horizon is like Witcher, and I think like Horizon does everything better, and it is better than Zelda.
It's like Witcher 3 meets Monster Hunter. Is like that was the vibe I was getting. It was definitely Witcher 3 and it was definitely Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I really like is you know how like Call of Duties they have like a game every year just for the sake of making money.
Yeah.
The reason they made this game is because they were passionate about it, and that's probably the coolest aspect to it to me because it's because they were passionate about it is why they stuck with it, and that's something I'm pretty much all about is what I'm passionate for. Like if I'm not passionate for it, I'll just kind of give up eventually and just be like, you know, whatever. But if I'm passionate for it, I'll like work for it like every single day of my life.
Yeah. This game had a lot of surprises for me too. I intentionally didn't look into a lot of the trailers of the game. The only trailer I really looked at was like the one like a month before the game came out, and I didn't really even understand what the game was about when I was looking at that trailer. I just knew that it was like post-apocalyptic world. They had no idea what was happening, and robots were taking over. And but like this game had so many surprises, either from like the cauldrons, the story, the different machines, the tall necks, you know, and the bandit camps, corrupt zones. This game took my breath away so many times, from the surprises, the little emotions, the little just like the little eggs, not like Easter eggs, but special things in the game. And it always made me feel like I was progressing in it too. So like in the beginning you're only fighting like watchers, but then like you'll be fighting like Thunderjaws, you know, and you'll feel like prepared for it. You'll feel awesome when like you finally take your first one down, like how I did.
Ravengers, Ravengers are my worst. Like Thunderjaw easy, Ravengers I hate.
Mm-hmm. It took me a while to get kill not
A scavenger.
No, the saber-tooth.
Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that first mission.
Yeah, when like you're fighting them.
That's
like,
not much of
fire.
it. That's just a first mission thing.
Yeah, like I'm talking about like if you like fight them in the wild.
Oh yeah, they group up too. Like there's always two of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, like when you're like level 40 or like even 35, like you feel like you can like take on anything, which is awesome.
One of my favorite aspects about that game is it never feels like a grind. Like there was never a moment where there was never a moment where I was playing the game and I felt bored. Like I literally looked forward to every second of playing that game because it never felt like a grind.
When I was at my mom's, I would like go over to like my because like my dad has the PS4, and so like I would just like go over there a couple hours before work and just so I could play like 2 or like 3 hours of like Horizon before like work started, because like I was like so obsessed with that game.
I agree. I definitely like there were moments where I was playing before work and I literally like looked back behind me to see how much time I had before I could leave.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We are going to go into spoiler territory now, so we're going to start talking about the story and the twists and turns of it. So if you have not beat the game yet, I would advise not listening to it. So yeah, what about that ending? Because that ending took me by surprise. I'm talking about like the post ending of the game.
What's his name? Silence?
Yeah, Silence.
I hate him.
Yeah, I thought
Silence is a jerk.
I never trusted him.
I hate Silence.
Yeah.
He was so like he literally ridiculed he like crucified Aloy just for not being heartless. Like every second he got, like every chance he got, he would ridicule her for for being compassionate and whatnot.
Yeah.
I
So,
hate Silence.
do you think part of Hades is still alive then, correct?
I think he's like concealed. It's like a
Okay.
Ganon thing.
Yeah.
Like he's not there, but he's like concealed in the earth or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. That
Okay, so
lantern
like
thing.
yeah, so like Hades is still so like the part of Hades was taken over into like the capsule that Silas had, and then he's like in a new part of the map, I guess. It's like the huge robot, like the huge spider thing like you see like throughout the mountains. And I think like you found like the source of it. And so I'm guessing they're going to wake that thing up and
We probably should have started from the beginning.
yeah,
and worked
okay.
up to
I
this
just want to
point.
talk about that.
But since we're already in the ending, do you think there's two Hades running around?
I don't think so.
They reset Gaia, and if they reset Gaia, they reset all the parts, and Hades is part of that. So do you think there's two Hades
I don't know,
running?
maybe. I don't think so,
Let's start from the beginning though.
okay.
How great was that intro scene? Like with
That was like got like so
baby-
much like
baby
Lion
Aloy?
like Lion King vibes from that, you know.
Yeah. And I love how like the title screen itself is like Ross holding Aloy over the mountain and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
That music's great too.
Oh yeah.
I like the soundtrack a lot. And then the jerk kids.
Yeah.
I feel like they were pointless. Like they only were there to antagonize you as a kid, and then they immediately die.
Well, I think it was part of like the tutorial, just like show you like you can either be mean to these kids, think logically, or like show compassion.
There's not a lot of human interaction in the game, I gotta admit. Like I kind of wish there was that cast. I wish they would be alive so that the only person I had to talk to wasn't like Teb and Petra and Eric or whatever.
What
his name
about
was.
that? All right, so what about the part where like you're looking for like the berries or whatever, and like you fall into the
Oh, the very very beginning.
yeah, like one of the ancient ruins.
Happy birthday, Isaac. Daddy loves his little boy. Yeah. I super like the way Aloy holds herself and her mannerisms. Like even as a kid, like the poor thing. The story behind Aloy is she's an outcast because by birth she doesn't have a mom or a dad, so they give her to Rost so that he can bring her up. But because she's an outcast, the Nora is the tribe she quote unquote belongs in. They are literally huge D-bags. Like,
run by women too, by the way.
Run by women?
Yeah, like all the people of power are like women.
Run by women. How do you like that feminist frequency?
The all mothers.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, whatever. All mothers, yeah. They're super religious. Like if it's not what all mother says, then just disregard it. Say it's cursed. Like they're very ignorant. Like they don't know what's going on.
They're very closed in, just like some religions can be.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Aloy. Like, I love one of my favorite things is within the first hour of the game, I was walking to the town for one of the first times when you were going to get the Tripcaster, and she literally comments, "God, I'm glad I'm shunned. Otherwise, I'd have to talk to these idiots."
Yeah.
I loved it so much. I was like, "This is a good character.
Yeah, you can like.
This is a great character." If she makes a comment like that,
she's confident, fierce, sarcastic sometimes, but like
she's
just
sassy.
Like, yeah, just like
she has
yeah.
sass to her.
Yeah.
Like, there's never a moment where she doesn't know. Like, there's never a moment where she doesn't have a plan. Like, I know what I'm gonna do. Like, she always knows what she's gonna do.
Did you figure out why Ross was outcasted? Because there's like a moment where like
he chose to.
Yeah, you can like.
It's said in the opening thing. It says she's an outcast by birth. You chose to be.
Well, no, there's like a cutscene, like not a cutscene, but there's like a chance you get to like talk to All Mother at the end of the game, and you can like have like this whole entire like conversation with her about.
Oh, I never did that.
About yeah, like someone killed someone of him important, and I think he went to vengeance, and
I
he got
never
outcasted for that.
See, I beat the game, and there's still stuff I don't even know.
Yeah. Did you talk to Silent more when like he was like describing like what happened to him at the end?
I wish I didn't. I like every time I was with Silence, I just wanted to get the heck away from him because I hated him so much. But yeah, I did talk to him some.
Okay.
Like I'm curious. What's with the tubes coming out of his arms?
I think those were like I thought those were like staples or something.
Yeah, I thought he was like an android or something. I don't know. What should we move on to? Because we're talking about story. I really like how each side quest isn't like a grindy side quest. Like each side quest has its own story to it.
Yeah.
Like side mission, I mean, every side mission like has its own thing. It doesn't feel like a task. There's no escort missions. There's no I need 3 eggs. Like there's none of that. It's just, hey, we need help. Will you help us? She's like, yeah.
Well, like I was trying to predict the story, and every time I went to like the new mission, I could like never figure out what was happening. Like her being a machine, I didn't really see that coming at all.
She's a machine.
Kind of. Well, like she was like
no,
born,
she was born of a machine, is what you
yeah,
mean.
she was like born from like the mountain.
Yeah, she was a tube baby.
Yeah, and so or like I had no idea what Zero Dawn was. I thought it was just like the title of the game, and
Yeah.
so. When, like they're talking about that and like Guy and everything, it's like, wow, this is like an interesting story.
They throw you a perfect curveball too, because they make you think that
the machines are like enemies, but like they were actually there to like help.
Yeah,
the Earth.
The machines were there just to be helpful, but because no one knew. Oh, by the way, the entire point of the game is, why are there machines? Why was I born without a mom? Have fun. Like that's the entire point of the game. Is just, why is this stuff here? Go figure it out. Like what happened? Why is it a post-apocalypse?
And of course, like things escalate from like the story, and it's like a whole entire like capital is about to like be destroyed at the end.
Yeah. Let's talk about. This is my favorite part of the game. Let's talk about Rost's grave.
You want to say how he died first?
Yeah, he died within the opening mission trying to save Aloy.
Very Lion King again.
It's very Lion King. Yeah, Aloy was about to be killed off by one of the... He was the Shadow Karja leader. The Shadow Karja is basically... Eclipse?
Yeah, he's part of the Eclipse.
So, he's the leader of the Eclipse, and they're like the main human enemies.
Yeah. They're called run by Hades, which is the evil AI.
Yeah, he's an evil AI based trying to kill everything for no reason. Ross dies trying to save Aloy, and then later on, there's Ross' grave. And what I love so much about Ross' grave is, you know how when you're playing a game, and then you put it down for a while, and you try to pick it up again, and you're like, where was I? What's the story? I don't remember anything. The Ross' grave is so, like, it's emotional. It's a great recap. It's by far the most beautiful way of recapping in a game. Like, not some stupid journal like, oh, when you last played, you had to do this. No, it's Aloy sitting down at Ross' grave. She takes off her freaking earpiece, which she never does, just so Silence doesn't hear her. And she talks to Ross' grave and about what she's done and where she needs to go next. And there's literally an option to go on, and you can just keep recapping, and it's just the most beautiful recap I've ever seen in any game.
Yeah, that's like, I like those moments where the game doesn't like shove it down your throat. So it's like, hey, you can go here. No, you just like go there and you can find that out by yourself. Or like, hey, you want to find out more about like why Ross became an outcast? We're not going to tell you, but like here it is, So it gives you like those cool options of like, oh, that's cool, and it's not like
you got to find it on your own.
It's not like telling you.
Yeah, it's not like forcing you to go a certain direction.
Mm-hmm. Which I liked.
Is there anything more?
Do you think they'll make a second one?
I hope.
What do you think the story would be or like, because like I want it to be like a new place, obviously, and I like the setting of the game, but I would be down for like another character or like a different location in the United States if like it ever happened like somewhere else in the United, kind of like Fallout.
The thing is, the story's pretty complete as it is.
Yeah,
like
so that's what I'm saying. If like
the entire story
character.
is Aloy, she tries to go out and find who her mother was, why all the machines are there, and she does. She finds out that she is a reincarnation of her quote unquote mother, who is this like lady who lived 1,000 years ago, or not 1,000, no, like post-apocalypse. It was 100, right?
Yeah, something like that.
She's like, oh, she's 100 years old. She can't be my mom.
Yeah, it was something like that. And, like, her mother went out and then, like, died at her house.
Yeah. By the way, that was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I love that scene at the...
But back on topic to what... yeah, you're this reincarnation of your quote-unquote mom, and you were pretty much built to reset Gaia, which is like this planet-saving thing. Because again, story is this what was it, like some military company made a bunch of killer robots.
Yeah, some military company made a bunch of killer robots to like help during this war, and then they started sucking the natural resources, which started the Earth from like collapsing.
They pretty much went rogue and they killed everything, and so they made Gaia to basically restart life.
Yeah, and then the leader of the government agency or whatever killed all the head leaders of like Gaia.
So no one knows anything. Like they killed, like the guy killed all the information. Like so basically they know nothing
because he was paranoid that like something like this was going to happen again. And so then that's when Hades took over, killed Gaia, and then you have to like reset everything.
Yeah, your purpose is to reset Gaia, and you do that, and then you go out and you find your quote unquote dead mom, which is weird because she's not really. It's not really
it's
her
creator.
It's not her mom. It's
her
like
genes in it.
It's not her mom. It's technically her mom is technically her because she's a clone of her mom.
Yeah, it's like I guess you can say like Gaia is her mom.
And also, it's weird because we're jumping around a lot, but basically, Aloy was like not cool with this. Like, why am I a clone of someone else? This is not cool. And then when like I'll talk about the Nora later. I got super sassy with them at the end. I was like, no. I already lost what I was talking about. I lost what I was talking about. 3 point. There's so much to this game. I lost track of what I was.
Do you want to get into the pros and cons now? If you want to talk about some of the stuff that you didn't like about the game, or some complaints.
I love Petra. Petra is this lady in a side mission, and it's hinted at that she has a lesbian thing going on for Aloy, which I absolutely ship. Like, my second favorite line in the game is where, I don't know, she picks up the big weapon, and she's like, if you ever want to have kids again, Aloy's like, all right. Yeah, let's go in. I can't remember what I was talking about for story, so let's just go into pro and con. I'll start. Here, I have, like, a short list. So, pretty much what I wrote down was, I love photo mode. I wish more games had photo mode. I wish there was more character customization. Like, specifically with armors, is the two armors I used throughout the entire game was the Nora Brave and the medium stealth. And I really don't like how there's the light armor, there's the medium armor, and then there's the heavy armor. And they all kind of had their own buffs, but the buffs were kind of like, they were too joined together. Like, well, sorry, off topic.
I'm glad I didn't go then, no.
Yeah, we're talking about some bonfire was obviously a trap. Yeah, I don't like how there's a light armor, medium armor, heavy armor, and all the heavy armor had, like, these weird headpieces, and I really, really, really didn't like the headpieces. And I also feel like there wasn't enough, like, weapons. Like, there was plenty, but there was, like, no way to customize your weapon other than mods, but that was only for damage. Going into the dislike was... never mind, hang on. I already mentioned this earlier, I love how Aloy comments on nature, and she comments, like, to the machines. Like, as she's fighting, she'll, like, almost talk to them. I love that. Going into the cons, the Tripcaster and the Lure is too OP. Don't use it. It makes your game infinitely less fun. I immediately found this. I call it the cheese method. It's where you cheese the game by making it easy. What you basically do is you set up like 8 Tripcasters is the max, and then you hide in a bush, and then you whistle, and then people walk into them and die. And that just made the game infinitely less fun. And I had to play on very hard mode just to find a challenge in the game. And very hard mode doesn't change much, just changes how much damage the enemies do. It doesn't change their patterns or anything. I kind of wish the AI was better. Like, if you're fighting against a human character and a human walks up, like, they hear a whistle and they walk up to, like, a huge bunch of tripwires, I hope the AI would be smart enough to have them walk away from it. But no, they just walk straight through. Same with machines, but I feel like the machines justified because they don't really like they wouldn't monitor that kind of thing.
Are you talking about the armor at all?
Yeah, I did. I don't like the headpieces and like the bonuses they give.
I just feel like it's unnecessary until like the very end of the game.
Yeah. Like honestly, you can go with like the default armor they give you at the beginning of the game that's crappy and you're not meant to use it, but you can literally use that armor all throughout the game and be fine. Another point is humans is unexcusable. Yeah, that was talking about the AI. Another cheese method is you just spam arrows and everything dies. Like you could the only incentive for charging your shot is to have better accuracy, but when you're fighting against a Thunderjaw and you're literally like right up next to it, just literally spam R2 and it'll die immediately, especially if you have like a bunch of damage mod and the hard point arrows. Just spam. It's like there's literally a minigun weapon in the game, and just spamming arrows is better. And that's why most of my playthrough was a stealth playthrough. Like, I didn't go in guns blazing like I know you did. I played it stealthy, so, it kind of gave me a challenge, and I think that's all I got to say, unless I think of more.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the complaints to me, I already said them in my, review, but, very, very tiny things. I think for Holden's the same. This game is still a masterpiece in my mind. I think it is the best PlayStation exclusive that has come out for like the PS4.
Will be for forever.
This is the standard of action RPG games, and for like to date. All right, well, thank you guys for listening. If you want to listen to more episodes, you can always find us at Grant's Rants on Twitter and Grant's Rants YouTube channel. Holden, where can people find you?
I am on Twitter, and I do play PlayStation. My what is it, like tag?
Yeah, you like your handle.
Your handle. My handle is Venusaur9000. Yeah, it's pretty basic. I made it back when Egoraptor was popular. But Venusaur9000, you can find me on Twitter. I am the artist for our RPG game we're making, and if you go on my Twitter, you can find like the art for our 3 characters that I have done.
I'm story team. I wrote most of the script.
How many hours did I stay up writing that script? How many days did I stay behind drawing those characters? Good times. Hopefully they don't cancel the game, which they probably will.
We'll make it. It's fine.
Oh God!
My
Fan down. There's a fan on a thing and it fell. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
I think the chair in it. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for listening. If you like more game reviews like this, let us know in the future.
If you like cancer, follow me on Twitter.
It's pretty funny cancer though. All right, bye.
Good cancer.